The thought of their allies being slaughtered churned in her stomach like poison. Behind her walked Defense Chief Robert Kellen, commander of Earth's combined armed forces. His expression was carved from stone as he took his seat at the long conference table. "Play the recording again," President Elaine Brooks said as she settled into her chair. Admiral Jonah Reyes tapped the console and replayed the grim footage. Captain Rourke's field report filled the screen, showing broken Averin colony ships scattered across space like driftwood on a dark ocean. No one spoke as the last desperate Averin transmission played. When silence lingered, Dr. Hannah Joe, Earth's foremost xenobiologist and longtime researcher with the Averin, finally spoke. Her voice trembled. "I have studied their culture for years. They are peaceful to the core, incapable of war or cruelty. They are trusting and gentle, like children who never learned to hate." "How many casualties?" President Brooks asked. Quietly, Admiral Reyes checked his data. Estimates indicate over 50,000 civilians lost. Among them, 15,000 children and 8,000 elderly who couldn't even work anymore. Kellen's fist slammed against the table. "They slaughtered the innocent. What kind of monsters are we dealing with?" Reyes shifted the screen to a galactic map displaying intel on the Dominion Council, the body responsible for enforcing order across hundreds of systems through intimidation and force. They've ruled unchecked for over a millennium. Their war machine is led by the Vectra Empire, notorious for cruelty and total obedience demands. Dr. Joe nodded somberly. "The Averin told me the Council categorizes species. Elite ones, like the Vectra, dominate. Those they consider primitive are enslaved or forced into menial labor. Humans were an unknown, so we had no category. Until now." President Brooks's face hardened. "And our alliance with the Averin told them everything they needed to know about us." "Exactly," Reyes said. "Our intel shows they fear independent coalitions more than anything. They expect absolute obedience. Alliances like ours? They call them seeds of rebellion." Kellen eyed the map's highlighted enemy fleets. "What do we know about their military strength?" "Over 10,000 warships," Reyes replied. "Massive, heavily armed, meant to intimidate opponents into surrender." "And us?" Brooks asked. 300 vessels, most designed for exploration or hauling. Only 60 true combat ships." The room fell into uneasy silence. Earth was outmatched, facing a foe with centuries of battle experience, while humanity had barely touched the stars for 50 years DR. Joe broke the tension. "The Averin mentioned others who resent the Council. The Rune mining collectives resist their taxes. The Kareth free traders reject shipping controls. There are dozens of species too afraid to act, but eager to see the Council fall. Could we work with them?" Reyes asked. "Possibly," Joe said. "They just need a leader brave enough to oppose the Council." Kellen scoffed bitterly. "A leader with 300 ships versus their 10,000? Brooks studied the star map like it was a chessboard. Numbers aren't everything. History proves smaller forces can win when they fight smarter. The colonists beat the British. Empire against impossible odds. We can do the same." Reyes showed Council tactical data. Their doctrine is outdated and rigid. They've grown arrogant, expecting instant submission. Their ships may have stronger shields and heavier weapons, but human ships are newer, built for speed and adaptability. Dr. Joe added, "Their rule thrives on fear. They've never faced an opponent willing to fight without it." President Brooks turned to the group. "They believed murdering civilians would terrify us into obedience. Instead, they guaranteed we will never kneel." "Madame President," Reyes interrupted, "incoming transmission from the Council ambassador." "Put him on, Brooks." Ordered a tall, gray-skinned alien with black eyes appeared on the screen, his voice dripping contempt as he spoke flawless English. "President Brooks, Humanity's exploration privileges are revoked. Your kind lacks the maturity for autonomous expansion. All vessels must adhere to Council-approved routes. And the Averin? Brooks demanded the ambassador's lips curled. Removed for biological safety violations. Their association with your primitive race risked contamination. You murdered 50,000 innocents. Kellen shouted, "We preserved galactic stability." The ambassador sneered. "Defy us, and you will share their fate." Brooks stepped closer. "And if we refuse? Then you will understand why the Council has ruled for 1,000 years. Submit, or be erased." The transmission cut. Silence thickened, broken only by Brooks's steady voice. They expect fear. Instead, they'll meet fire and fury. 3 weeks had passed since President Elaine Brooks announced open war on the Dominion Council. Earth's industries had transformed overnight into a war-driven machine. Factories that once produced exploration gear now built warship armor, and high-output plasma drives. Colonel Marcus Hall stood in the command cavern of Earth's largest underground facility, a nerve center of Operation Iron Resolve. The chamber pulsed with activity. Thousands of engineers and technicians working at breakneck speed. Dr. Nadia Vance, Earth's chief military engineer, walked alongside Marcus, her tablet flashing design schematics. A first strike group is almost ready. These ships are designed for precision warfare, fast enough to outrun anything they throw at us, and strong enough to tear through their hulls before they can react. Marcus studied the line of freshly assembled warships through the transparent hangar barrier. Each vessel was half the size of a Dominion battlecruiser, but carried twice the weaponry, thanks to creative human engineering and reverse-engineered Averin technology. Dr. Elias Quinn approached, holding weapon test data with a grin. "Our plasma accelerators are performing beyond expectations. They cut through Dominion shields like they're scrap metal." Marcus frowned slightly. "Their shields are supposed to be legendary. How are we punching through?" "They rely on outdated frequency harmonics," Quinn explained. "Their tech hasn't evolved in centuries. Our design doesn't even register as a conventional energy attack, so their shields treat it like background noise until it's too late." In another section, Intelligence Director Kara Monroe worked tirelessly with a team building alliances among anti-council factions. "The rune miners are in," she reported, "and they've offered detailed charts of hidden Dominion resource depots. The Kara traders agreed too, providing supply route maps and covert transport for our special forces." Marcus moved to the logistics deck, where Commander Jace Forrester oversaw fleet production. "How many ships are combat ready?" Marcus asked. 100 total for the initial offensive," Forrester replied. 60 new strike craft plus 40 retrofitted combat ships. They're built to hunt in packs, not slug it out like their flying fortresses. Major Ivy Core entered, carrying intel from covert ops. Her Black Ops teams had been rescuing surviving Averin from Dominion territory and gathering intel. "We've located 3 groups of Averin survivors. Their stories are worse than we imagined. The Dominion isn't just killing them, they're performing experiments." Marcus clenched his jaw. "What kind of experiments?" "They want to understand how to exterminate any species aligned with humans," Ivy said grimly. "They're making an example of the Averin, spreading fear across the galaxy." Dr. Quinn chimed in. The rescued Averin provided detailed schematics of Dominion ship architecture. They worked in their shipyards before the massacre and know every weak point in their fleet design. Marcus scanned the star map, showing dozens of possible targets. "So where do we hit them first?" Nadia pointed to red-marked bases, weapon depots and forward command posts. "Take those out, and their fleets lose supply lines." Forrester highlighted shipyards. "Cripple their production capacity, and they can't recover from losses." Kara added, "Free the prison camps." Show every species that humanity honors its word. Quinn argued for something different. Take out their command hubs. Disrupt their ability to coordinate, and their fleets fall into chaos. Marcus studied. Them all. We don't win a war of attrition. We win by shock and speed. He paused, then declared, we hit 12 targets at once. They won't know where to send reinforcements. Ivy hesitated. That'll thin our forces. If they consolidate, they might wipe out one of our squadrons. Marcus allowed a grim smile. That's what we want. Their doctrine depends on overwhelming force. We'll bait them into leaving bases unprotected, then strike again where they're weak. We'll always be one move ahead. Karen nodded slowly. You want to turn this into a swarm war? Exactly, Marcus said. They've never faced anything like it. Everyone in the room understood the risk, but also the necessity. Humanity could not survive a drawn-out conflict. Operation Iron Resolve launches in 6 hours, Marcus ordered. All captains know their objectives. Today, the galaxy learns what happens when you massacre our friends. Major Ivy Core raised another proposal. What about those prison satellites holding Averin refugees? Freeing them sends a clear message. We protect our allies, no matter the cost. Dr. Elias Quinn looked up from his terminal. I recommend hitting their command and relay hubs first. Their fleets rely on centralized coordination. Take those out, and every enemy ship captain is on their own. Colonel Marcus Halley listened carefully. He knew Earth couldn't win a long, grinding war. They were smaller, weaker, and lacked the resources for a prolonged conflict. The only chance was to hit the Dominion so hard and fast that fear replaced arrogance. We strike them all, Marcus said finally. Every target. Not one after another simultaneously. 12 locations. At once. Commander Jace Forrester blinked. 12? That spreads us thin. If they consolidate their fleet, they could wipe out an entire strike group. That's exactly what I want them to try, Marcus replied with a cold grin. Their battle doctrine is predictable crush an opponent with sheer numbers. We'll make them chase shadows, abandoning critical bases to hunt decoys. While they react, we hit where they least expect. Kara Monroe leaned forward, impressed. A swarm strategy. Exactly. We move like hornets, always hitting from a new angle. Before they can regroup. Around him, the war room came alive. Dozens of officers activated mission boards, dispatching orders across human-controlled space. Crews scrambled for launch. Operation Iron Resolve would begin within hours. All rescue teams prepped? Marcus asked, ready to extract survivors. The moment we break their defenses. Ivy confirmed. Dr. Quinn added, all new plasma accelerators calibrated. Their ships won't know what hit them. Supply lines? Marcus asked. Forrester smiled. Secured. We can fight for months if necessary. And our new allies? Kara nodded. The rune miners and Kareth traders are standing by. The moment we launch, they start their own strikes. Marcus activated the secure comm line. This is Colonel Marcus Hall. Operation Iron Resolve begins in 6 hours. Humanity does not surrender its friends. Admiral Serena Holt stood on the bridge of the U.E.'s Defiance as 12 strike squadrons emerged from faster-than-light travel. Each one carried the newest warships humanity had ever built sleek, heavily armed, and faster than anything in the Dominion fleet. All squadrons report ready. Captain Armin Vega said from the comm station. Serena addressed the fleet. Today, we answer for the Averin massacre. Today, they learned humanity does not kneel. Commence the attack. Across the galaxy, 12 simultaneous strikes erupted. Captain Leora Chun led her fast attack flotilla into a Dominion fuel refinery orbiting. Vectress 4, hit the storage tanks first, she ordered. Plasma fire shredded fuel reservoirs, creating colossal explosions that vaporized the enemy depot in seconds. Major Rowan Drake commanded a bomber group targeting Dominion relay networks. Synchronize impact 5 minutes window max, he instructed. In seconds, 3 separate command hubs were annihilated, leaving half the sector blind back at the main target, the infamous Voreth Enclave, the base where the Averin massacre had been ordered. Admiral Holt directed her forces like a surgeon. Captain Vega, flank left. Neutralize docked cruisers before they launch, she ordered. The Liberty II, once a peaceful exploration vessel, now a heavily armed destroyer, led the charge, obliterating 6 enemy cruisers before they could even power shield's commander. Ethan Cole's squadron dove into the base's weapons platform, planting shaped charges directly onto reactor cores. The resulting detonation lit the system like a newborn sun. Colonel Jade Mercer and her ground units stormed prison sectors, finding evidence of horrifying experiments on Averin prisoners. 30 survivors rescued, Jade reported. But Admiral, the Dominion was dissecting them, studying pain thresholds to design extermination protocols for us next. Serena Holt's face hardened. Evacuate survivors and erase everything in that lab. The battle raged for 2 hours, and Dominion forces followed their centuries-old doctrine, perfectly forming rigid battle lines, easily outmaneuvered by fast Wolfpack-style attacks. Council Fleet Command is still giving the same orders, Vega said. Just like our simulations predicted, replied Tactical Officer Naomi Pierce. They're too slow to adapt, Serena smiled thinly. End. This. By the battle's end, 12 Dominion military installations were reduced to debris. Fuel depots, communication hubs, shipyards, and weapons facilities all annihilated in a single day on Kepler's Edge. Captain Shun's strike group freed 200 ruined slaves, earning their lasting loyalty. Major Drake's team crippled 3 of the Dominion's most important relay networks. Commander Cole captured a weapons factory intact, gaining invaluable data for future human designs. Colonel Mercer's ground forces liberated over 1,000 Averin refugees. One elderly Averin wept as human soldiers carried him to safety. They told us you would abandon us, he whispered, but you came. You came. Admiral Holt collected battle reports. 43 enemy warships destroyed 6 major installations, erased 3 key relay hubs, disabled 1,500 Dominion personnel killed, including the entire Voreth command staff. Human losses? 2 ships damaged, no casualties. Send a message to all Dominion forces, Holt ordered coldly. Tell them this is only the beginning. Every day they refuse surrender, another piece of their empire dies. Captain Vega studied the star charts. What's our next target, Admiral? Holt stared at the glowing map. All of them. They wanted to teach humanity about consequences. Today, we return the lesson. All squadrons reporting combat readiness, Captain Armin Vega announced. From the Defiance's communications console, the once exploration ship commander was now one of Earth's most experienced war leaders. Hardened by weeks of relentless fighting on the tactical display, Admiral Serena Holt watched as enemy formations approached. The Dominion had assembled every remaining warship for one decisive clash. Their admirals believed the numbers alone would crush humanity. They were about to discover how wrong they were. Begin the attack, Holt ordered. Show them what happens when you threaten free worlds. The human fleet split apart, scattering into dozens of independent strike elements that swarmed the Dominion like angry hornets. Instead of engaging in static battle lines, Earth forces encircled and disoriented the enemy, striking from unexpected vectors again and again. While the space battle ignited above, General Kira Malik led the ground. Assault on Ardent Prime, the Dominion capital world. Her troops had arrived inside disguised Kareth trading barges, slipping through planetary defenses unnoticed. The arrogance of Dominion security had left their capital dangerously exposed. Central government hubs secured, Kira reported as soldiers locked down critical administrative towers and seized control of the planetary defense grid. We also control their military command servers. Commander Nolan Briggs spearheaded the fleet's inner strike group, penetrating the orbital defense lattice using room-provided intel. Within minutes, Earth warships were destroying defense platforms that had guarded the capital for centuries. All outer perimeter cannons offline, Briggs confirmed. Landing zones are clear for the assault carriers. Commander Naomi Pierce coordinated liberation strikes across dozens of occupied worlds, freeing millions of beings long enslaved by the Dominion. The Valen, Hestari, and Torath people are joining our cause, she reported. Their militias are already taking up arms against former Dominion overseers. Their empire is collapsing from within. The Dominion's heavy cruisers couldn't keep up with the speed and maneuverability of Earth's modular fleet designs. Even when they landed hits, advanced adaptive shields absorbed or redirected most of the damage. Captain Elias Drake's squadron destroyed the primary plasma cannon, foundry responsible for producing the same weapons used in the Averin massacre. The resulting detonation burned so brightly that it cast eerie shadows across Arden Prime's night side. Meanwhile, Captain Leora Chun's fast attack wings seized the Dominion's central military archives, revealing chilling intelligence. "Admiral, you need to see this," Chun said, voice shaking. The Averin slaughter was only step one. They had extermination protocols drafted for at least 12 other species. Humanity was next. Admiral Holt's jaw tightened. Delete every file, erase their entire war infrastructure, and burn what you can't delete. For 18 grueling hours, humanity and its allies dismantled the Dominion fleet ship by ship, station by station. Entire star systems erupted in rebellion, throwing off centuries of oppression. Now that the fear of retaliation was gone, High Executor Varix, the architect of the Averin massacre, attempted to flee via underground tunnels beneath the capital, but General Malek's troops captured him alive. He would face trial for genocide and crimes against sentient life. Then the signal came from Dominion leadership: we surrender. All terms accepted. Total compliance. On the bridge of the Defiance, Admiral Holt stared at the tactical map showing debris fields where enemy warships had once been. Fewer than 100 Dominion vessels remained out of the 10,000 that had begun the battle. All Alliance vessels. This is Admiral Holt. The Dominion has surrendered. The Averin have been avenged. The galaxy is free. 6 months later, Admiral Armin Vega stood on the observation deck of the newly commissioned Solis Station, headquarters of the Galactic Alliance. Outside, ships from dozens of species moved together, building a future of shared progress rather than fear-driven domination. The Alliance wasn't a new empire. It was a cooperative coalition, built on equality and self-determination. Humanity hadn't replaced the Dominion. They had ended the era of oppression entirely. The surviving Averin chose a tranquil world under Alliance protection as their new home. There, their culture began to heal, and their children grew up free from fear. Every time an Alliance vessel passed their orbit, the Averin celebrated, never forgetting who had saved them. President Ilara Miles kept her promise to deliver justice. Dominion war criminals stood trial, and survivors received compensation and protection. Above all, the galaxy learned one simple truth: atrocities would be met with overwhelming, righteous retaliation. Admiral Vega received reports daily from Alliance patrols now watching over former Dominion sectors. In every liberated world, populations rejoiced and pledged loyalty to freedom rather than domination. "Admiral, incoming message from Averin Prime," a com officer said. Elder Rether, the Averin leader, appeared on screen. "Our children wish to visit Earth," he said with a warm smile. They want to see the homeworld of those who saved us. Vega smiled. Tell them Earth is always open to our friends. As the transmission ended, the Admiral looked out at the stars. The war had been brutal, but the lesson was clear. Those who tried to destroy the innocent would face unstoppable fury. Peace had been bought with sacrifice and resolve, and humanity would never again allow tyranny to rise unchallenged.